Good morning and welcome to a special episode of On My Bookshelf, because today I'm going to be looking at Photographing the Lake District 2nd edition, right here in the stunning Lake District. Well, isn't that a view and a half? Absolutely brilliant. Now I will tell you a bit more about where I am and the walk that I'm doing later on in this video. But in this extra special episode of On My Bookshelf, we are going to be looking at this book here. This is Photographing the Lake District 2nd edition by Stuart Holmes and published by fotoVUE. The first edition of this book was actually the very first fotoVUE book that I ever bought. It's been well used, and over the years I've built up quite a collection. Things like Photographing Scotland and Devon and Cornwall have had a lot of use for me. So when fotoVUE reached out to me and said, would you mind doing an episode on the 2nd edition of the Lake District? I said, yes, of course. But I said, I can go one better. I can do something a little bit special. I thought, why don't I come and talk about the book in the Lake District? Let me adjust you there. Whoa, go the right way. them views are something else. And the view that way, it's even better. So what can you expect in this video? Well, I'm going to tell you all about Photographing the Lake District Edition 2. I'm going to tell you how this book's laid out, how to use it, what type of content in there, and how it's going to help you plan your trip to photograph the Lake District. And also, if you already own the 1st edition, I'm going to tell you about some of the new things that are in the 2nd edition, such as these new 9 high mountain walks, what I'm doing today. And I will promise to tell you a bit more about the route I'm on today a little bit later. And of course, I'm going to be taking some photographs, because you can't come up to a view like this and not take pictures. I mean, just look at it. I'm probably going to say it many times throughout this video, but wow, I mean, look at that view. It's absolutely fantastic. That won't be the last time I say it, but I'm not going to apologise for it. But I'm going to make my way up towards the summit, and I'll tell you a bit more about the book when I get up there. I'll see you in a minute. It's probably about time I told you where I am. I'm actually in the northeast area of the lakes, and I'm doing walk number 13, which is an ascent of Mardelle. It's a fantastic high mountain route, one of the 9 new high mountain routes in this book. But I'll cover more about that later on. And don't worry, this book isn't all about coming up epic mountain scenes in the snow. There's lots of accessible locations all the way from the ground, all the way up to high mountain locations like this. But let's take a look inside this book and find out what makes them so useful. Let's take a quick look at the physical characteristics of the book. It's 528 pages, it features over 100 locations, and it's got over 800 photographs. It's fair to say it's pretty comprehensive. The first couple of pages in the book give you an overview of all the different areas and locations in the book. So it's quite a good way of getting an idea of how big the Lake District is and how much variety in locations there is. And then on the following pages there's a map, and there you can see the areas and the locations. So this is a really handy way if you're planning your trip and you know where you happen to be staying. You can easily see which locations are close to you and which ones you might be willing to travel a little bit further for. The book has some really useful information in it if you're not familiar with the Lake District. So it's got information about how to get about the Lake District, how to use public transport, different types of accommodation, information on climate, weather, seasons, and a very important section, one that I read myself a couple of times, and that was all about mountain safety. Because if you are going to come up into the fells, no matter what season it is, it's really important to be safe. And I highlighted the link in there, something that I've been using myself over the last few days, and that's the mountain weather information system, because it gives specific forecasts for being up in the mountains. And I don't want to come up here, particularly when there's still a bit of snow about, and I don't want to feel unsafe and get into trouble. So I've had to wait a few days to shoot this video, but that patience has certainly paid off, because, as I say, it's absolutely stunning up here. The main content of the book, of course, is all about those photography locations. And the book is split up into a number of different sections, with each section covering a geographical area. So, for example, I'm in the northeast area of the book today. And there are lots of locations for each of those areas, not just these epic mountain walks as well. There's a huge variety of different types of location in each area. So you can shoot everything. You can shoot the fells from the ground, down at the lakeside where there's boats and jetties, wildlife. You can go and shoot the villages, rivers, bridges, waterfalls, and there's even a section for shows and events. So if you want to capture a bit more of the culture of the Lake District and you're there at certain times of year, it's a very handy section there where you can see what shows and events are going on, and you can take your camera and capture some people shots as well. And also, again, it's not just high mountain views that you get to shoot as well. There's lots of accessible locations, either locations that are just a short walk away from the car, or you don't even need to get out of the car as well. So there should be something there for all sorts of tastes, no matter what your style of photography is, or no matter what your fitness or mobility is. But as I said, I think earlier, one of the best ways to talk about a guidebook is actually take one of the locations and put it to practical use. And that's exactly what I'm doing here today. So when I was planning this particular walk, or selecting this walk, I went through the book and I found those 9 new high mountain walks. And then I had a look about which ones were in close proximity to where I was staying. And I had a look through and I came across this one, which is Mardelle, and High Street over there, I think it's called. But it wasn't just the walk or the characteristics of the walk that made me select this one. It was the photography that went along with it. And this goes throughout the book. Stuart's photographs are absolutely outstanding. Even if you didn't even plan on coming to the Lake District, just looking through this book and looking at the photographs is really inspiring. And to be honest, I've been to the Lake District a couple of times, but looking through this book and looking at the photographs, I just thought, I have to go back, and I have to go back soon. And again, I said it before, look at these views, and I'm so glad I did. Anyway, back to the route itself. So as I looked through the text description in this book, I looked at all the different viewpoints. There's 5 altogether. And what I did was I went onto my computer, opened up OS Maps, and I drew out the route that I was going to walk. And then combined with a paper map, when I come up here, it's a really good way to track my progress and make sure that I visit those 5 different viewpoints. And in the book, each of those viewpoints is accompanied by some of Stuart's photography as well, which is a great way to get inspired about a location, to give you an idea of the photographs that you might want to capture when you get there. But I always see these as a starting point, as a source of inspiration. When I get up here and I visit the viewpoint, I just allow myself to get the camera out and take my own pictures. But it's nice to have a bit of a head start, a bit of extra inspiration to get you to these locations. Another big benefit to these guidebooks is you can really benefit from the author's local knowledge. So Stuart wrote in quite a lot of detail about this particular walk, which was really useful because it allowed me to envisage the type of walk that I was going to go on. So I knew it was 11 kilometers long, that it contained at least a couple of summits, and that I should be careful here in winter. So it was good to have that advanced knowledge and benefit from Stuart's experience. But also the information that Stuart includes in this book for things like parking is quite difficult in the Lake District. But it gives you useful stuff like you can get the postcode, you can get the GPS coordinates, or what I like to do is to use that QR code that's there. So I just scan that on my phone, it opens up Google Maps, and I can navigate to the car park. saves a lot of time and saves a lot of stress. So super useful information like that can really make the difference between being a little bit stressed and just turning up and having a good time. All that high quality, useful information such as parking and how to get there is included for all the locations in the book, not just these high mountain walks, but if you're going to visit a waterfall or going to a village or an historic building, all that useful information about where to park and how to get there and what to expect, Stuart is included. So there's something there for everybody. And this is a great thing, I think I can say in summary about photographing the Lake District in all the fotoVUE books, is there a great way to optimize your time. So if you're only here for a short while and you want to get a real head start about some of the locations you could go and photograph that will inspire your photography, these books are absolutely outstanding. I've moved on a little since I last spoke to you. I'm now on Viewpoint 3, which is called Thornthwaite Crag beacon. I'm actually just, the beacon's back there actually. I've just come down here a little bit because as soon as I came over the top of the hill, I saw this view and all the mountains that opened up. I mean, the visibility today is superb. And they've got the clouds are moving across the sky and you can see them dance along the ground and you get patches of light everywhere. It's tremendous. And just thanks, Stuart, actually, for coming up with this walk, writing about it, because coming up here, I'm having the best day. I mean, the weather, we've lucked out. Like I said earlier, we had to be very patient with the weather. And today, there's barely a breath of wind. It's cold, but it's absolutely beautiful. So thanks for writing about this. And thank you, fotoVUE, for encouraging me and asking me to do an On My Bookshelf video about this book, because I'm having the best day. Hello again, you join me at Viewpoint 4, which is at the top of High Street, this big open land here. It's still got plenty of snow in it, but have I mentioned today how epic these views are? It's just stunning over there. But let me tell you about some of the new things in the book. So if you're an edition 1 owner of Photographing the Lakes, should you get edition 2? So I get these facts right, I'm going to read them off. So the number of pages up from 320 to 528. The number of images is up from 300 up to 800 photographs now. Locations gone from 70 up to 100. Number of high mountain walks, well, the original book had none. This has 9. This is what I'm doing today. Not all 9 of them, obviously. They've got changed the maps as well. So we've got OS style maps now, so you can see things like contour lines. What else have we got? We got the QR codes, which I mentioned and showed you earlier, so things like finding the car park. Oh, I forgot to mention, what 3 words? All those locations also have the what 3 words, so if you've got the app, you type that in, shows you exactly where somewhere it is. And the other handy thing is that you've got a sun compass, so every time you look at the map for a particular area, so a little compass at the top, and it shows you which direction the sun is rising and setting for the given point of year. So I think, you know, there's quite a lot of extra value in there in that second edition. Welcome to Viewpoint 5, the final viewpoint on this rather spectacular walk. I'm making the descent back to the car along Riggindale Ridge here, and then I've got blue water down below me, and I've got the mountains where I was walking earlier. I'm glad I didn't go off course, it looks a long way down. But I think, even though I'm heading back now, I've still got a great walk to do down there along that ridgeline, get some more shots of blue water there and the ridgeline itself, so there's still plenty for me to enjoy and to take photographs of. I've come down to Rough Crag. I'm nearly back at the car, but I've still got a fair amount of ascent to go. The views are still well open, there's light everywhere, it still looks really good. And I've just been reading some more of the text of this particular part of the route, and I believe there's still photographs down there to be taken. So do stay tuned, there should be more photographs. But talking of the book, is this a book for your bookshelf? Well, I think for me, it has to be a resounding yes. If you're planning on coming to the Lake District, and maybe you're only here for a week or even a few days, a short period of time, and you want to make your trip as efficient as possible, and you want to pick out the locations and put a bit of a plan together, this is a really good source of information. But even if you're an experienced Lake District photographer, so, but you've been here a few times and you've covered a lot of the locations, there's all the new stuff in here as well, particularly these 9 high mountain walks, one of which I'm experienced today. I probably wouldn't have done this walk if it hadn't been for the route details in this book. It's been brilliant following this along. It's a real discovery for me to come along and walk along these hills and follow in Stuart's footsteps and read his words and see what he felt about this particular location. Of course, his inspiring pictures that have enabled me to get my own pictures. It's just been a great day out, and it's been made even easier with this book. But perhaps maybe you're a first edition owner. Should you get the second edition? Well, I think there is enough new content in this book to justify buying it. So you're up from 100 locations, up from 70 locations to 100 locations, 800 pictures, you've got these 9 new high walks. There's plenty in here to justify getting another copy and expanding your horizons when it comes to visiting and photographing the Lake District. But I am now gonna head down there. Don't disappear. I'm sure there's some more photographs to be had, and I'll see you when I get back down to the waterside edge there and the car. Unfortunately, my walk is almost at an end. Car's just over there. I've got horse water in the background. But I have to say, it's probably been one of the best days out in the Lake District I've ever had. I've had such a good day walking the fells around here, and it's thanks to discovering the route in this book. And if you'd like to get your copy of Photographing the Lake District 2nd edition, if you head down to the video description, you'll find a link for it there, and where you'll also find a discount code if you buy the book directly from fotoVUE. I'm a big fan of photography books, and I've done quite a few episodes of On My Bookshelf. Now, if you've got a bit more time, I'm popping the On My Bookshelf playlist up in the corner of the screen. So if you've got an extra few minutes, why not check one of those videos out? There's bound to be a book in there to inspire your photography. But until the next video, I'll see you then.